Welcome to Item Breakdown, a series where I analyze every single item in Mario Maker 2, go over their properties, and find interesting ways to use them in our own levels. This video is all about the Seesaw.
It's a teeter-totter.
A teeter-totter.
Yeah, a teeter-totter.
A Seesaw is a gizmo asset available in the 4 classic game styles. It is 1 tile tall and can be between 3 and 15 tiles long. It is considered semi-solid and doesn't interact with any kind of terrain. A seesaw will tilt left or right from its center depending on what object is resting on its surface. Every object in the game has a certain weight value. The following objects have a weight of 0.5. These objects here have a weight of 1. And these objects have a weight of 2. Giving any of these objects a super mushroom will double their weight. Mario and other playable characters have a weight of 1, regardless of any power-ups. However, wearing a shelmet, riding a mount, or holding an object does increase their weight accordingly. For some reason, enemies stacked on top of a spike in the editor are considered weightless. It's not clear if this is intentional or simply a glitch, as it only applies to enemy stacks where a spike is at the very bottom. Additionally, the spike or snowballs a spike throws still have weight, even while they are held by said spike. The total weight on each side of a seesaw, as well as the location of each object, determines which direction and how fast it tilts. To determine exactly how a seesaw will tilt, without getting too deep into physics formulas, here is a simple checklist to go through. First, choose a single object directly in contact with the surface of the seesaw. For example, this muncher. Then, determine the total weight of that object and any objects on top of it. In this case, its weight is 2. Finally, multiply the total weight you found by the number of spaces the object is away from the center of the seesaw. So the total weight this muncher is applying is 4. Repeating the process for the other muncher, we can determine that the right side of the seesaw will dip, because the muncher is applying a total weight of 6 due to it being an additional tile away from the center. That might seem like a whole bunch of Moonman speak, but trust me, I'm sparing you from a lot of torque craziness. Most creators will never have to worry about any of this, but if you're interested in learning more, I do have some additional resources in the description of this video. Any form of ground pound performed on one side of a seesaw will apply an infinite amount of weight, causing everything on the other side to be launched into the air, regardless of how heavy it is. This also happens if a thwomp slams into the surface of a seesaw, either vertically or horizontally. The number of blocks high an object on a seesaw will be launched is equal to the number of spaces away from the center it is, plus 4. Again, the weight of an object does not affect how high it's launched. Also, for some reason, a downwards drill attack performed by Propeller Mario does not count as a ground pound in this scenario, even though most other ground pound-esque moves do. While it is not possible to initiate a slide on a tilted seesaw, Mario sliding off of a slope will continue to slide on a seesaw as if it were a slope itself. A seesaw of any size can be placed on a track and is attached by the center. It functions just as a normal seesaw would. A seesaw tilts slower when submerged in any kind of liquid. Finally, a seesaw becomes slippery in the night snow theme. So, now that we know how it works, how do we work with it? Seesaws saw excitement soon after they were seen. Mario Maker was sorely lacking a physics-based platform, not only for their classic traditional level applications, but for their unparalleled vacillating abilities in puzzles and machinery. I also have to give credit where credit is due. Nintendo could have gone the easy route and made all objects affect a seesaw the same, but instead they made a much more intuitive weight system that actually supplies some depth to it. So let's get right into exactly what makes this teeter-totter. It's not a hard sell for seesaws in classic courses. Their complexity is matched with a great simplicity. They can be used as purely perilous platforms. Add a touch of lava, and the player will be wary not to make them waver. Seesaws even pair well with saws, see? Toss them on a track, and now we're talking. The seesaw creates a heightened sense of insecurity as it tilts one way and another. Consider dropping in some enemies from above as well, forcing the player to keep their platform free of goons if they wish to be in control of how it moves. Yeah, that might be a little much. Puzzles are the prime example for this paltering platform, whether they're at the center of the solution or just a step in the right direction. The story mode level Ancient Seesaw Fortress is actually a great sampling of seesaw puzzle specimens. From getting a Koopa to lower the seesaw, raising the spring out from underneath a bridge, using this thwomp to launch a muncher into the air, all the way to escorting a dry bones across multiple seesaws in order to jump off of it, Ancient Seesaw Fortress spares no expense in filling every inch with tilting platform tricks. It even utilizes the fact that the player becomes heavier when wearing certain power-ups, a mechanic that can definitely be explored in many different ways. Seesaws neither teeter nor totter when put to the task in troll levels. While you are now an expert on everything seesaw, the average player may not know just exactly how the seesaw oscillates. This could spell bad news in sections where information is power, such as knowing that you can clip through seesaws from above, or that terrain can be hidden behind them. Using these obscure setups can certainly set up some solid moments. Just remember to always use your power for good. Of course, no list would be complete without some honorable mentions. I've seen the seesaw used strongly in kaizo levels, by using thwomps to launch objects in the player's favor. In fact, this mechanic can make for a unique level on its own. It can also create an interesting challenge when paired with the don't land after leaving the ground clear condition. Here the player has to tilt the seesaw in certain spots in order to avoid obstacles. Lastly, I want you to forget about literally everything I said in the info section, because seesaws are absolutely, unequivocally filled with jank. Ground pounding on them can clip the player through semi-solid platforms. When standing in just the right spot, they can clip the player through hidden blocks they normally wouldn't be able to go through otherwise. And, I mean, just what is even happening here, honestly? While most of the facts in this video should hold up, there's still more to discover about just how seesaws simulate weight. And that's just a dip into this undulating dandleboard. If you're looking for more inspiration, check out another one of these item breakdowns. A huge thank you to my patrons and YouTube members for making this series possible, and I'll see you in the next one.